hope that you also stay connected with this channel and connect with me on Instagram because I have a lot of content that I have for nonprofits and nonprofit executives. So, we're talking about Giving Tuesday. If you do not know what Giving Tuesday is, it is a day of giving specifically for nonprofits, and it's on November 30th. So if you're watching this, this is November 13th. Today is November 13th, 2021. And so your planning should have already started for Giving Tuesday if you're already considering participating. So, Giving Tuesday is a day of fundraising, a day focused on fundraising for nonprofits. However, some nonprofits will use it as an opportunity for other things they're hoping to acquire. So, it may be a day to get partnerships, a day to get volunteers, a day to spread kindness in the community. But often you'll see nonprofits focusing on fundraising for their organization. So if you're deciding to participate, I hope you have already promoted Giving Tuesday and you have already shared that you will be participating, because there's going to be a saturation of nonprofits that are getting involved, which means you want to make sure that people are seeing the opportunity to give to your nonprofit as well. So donors may have in mind to give to another nonprofit, but they will also consider yours as well. So you should be making sure your communications are in alignment with your fundraising efforts. So consider planning in advance, planning your captions, planning your emails, planning all your content in advance. So then when Giving Tuesday rolls out, everything is scheduled to go out and you don't have to worry about having to remember to post somewhere or remember to have done something when you just sit back and watch the funds come in. Now, don't be discouraged if you see that hour one or hour two, the initial hours of Giving Tuesday, you're not seeing any funds come in. Give your donors time to check their emails, to look on social media, to determine how much they're going to give to your organization. I want to offer something that it can make your organization unique, is the ability to extend past Giving Tuesday. So, for example, you're raising 2K for an organization, your organization, and perhaps you only meet 70% of that goal or 90%, you can use that extra day to get funding for the organization to get that extra final push for Giving Tuesday. And you may also want to consider that when you're fundraising, even if you do not meet your goal, that does not mean you haven't been successful. You may examine other areas and think, well, actually, we're able to have great team collaboration in order to communicate our fundraisers like never before. Yes, we were able to actually create an email list, and now we have all these emails that we can send future communications to. And hey, we're actually able to understand marketing and Facebook ads, and hey, we saw some success there. So really thinking about how fundraising is not always about meeting a number goal. The success of fundraisers is not always about meeting a funding goal, but it can be successes for other things through the organization. So you really want to keep that in mind. Be encouraged. Don't think that just because you have not been able to accomplish a certain percentage or meet a certain number doesn't mean that your fundraising efforts aren't successful or that they will not be successful. So I always encourage my clients to continue to fundraise for your organization. I have not introduced myself. My name is Kia Harris Toglan, and I am a nonprofit strategist and builder as well as educator. So I am happy and blessed to be able to share my gift with you, and I want you to stay connected. So if you're on YouTube, do subscribe, turn on your notifications. If you are on Instagram, do connect with me on Instagram because I have a variety of content there, and then also on LinkedIn. So just stay connected in general because there's a lot of information that I am giving to nonprofits in this time, this season, especially during the last few months of the year. So let's also talk about year-end appeals. So nonprofits may think, well, let's participate in Giving Tuesday and let's also participate in the year-end appeal, that final push before the year is up. One thing I examined when my nonprofit organization, Dare Humanity, participated in Giving Tuesday, and then we also did our year-end appeal campaign, is that the time within that was too close. So we saw a lot of engagement and momentum when it came to Giving Tuesday. But then when we were pushing out the information for year end, we are seeing that people weren't as engaged, that they probably already gave during Giving Tuesday, and so they had already gave and they considered that what they're going to give for the rest of the year. So if you are participating in Boast, I encourage you to really strategically lay out the timeline for that, so you are not asking donors multiple times for funding in a short period of time. Now, there are a variety of strategies that you can use if you are participating in both. One thing I've seen with a variety of nonprofits is they will use their Giving Tuesday campaign and use that as an opportunity to feed that into the year-end appeal. So this may be they have a fundraising page that says Giving Tuesday. And so Giving Tuesday that day and maybe the day after, you'll see that Giving Tuesday language, but then after you'll see language that is associated with the year-end appeal. Now on the back end, they kept that same fundraising page and those numbers in there and that information in there, but they just changed the language of it to extend it to the year-end appeal. So this could be something that you do using whatever platform you're using for fundraising. And yes, you should be using a platform. You should not just be forwarding people to your donate page. You'll find that the number from Giving Tuesday will carry the results of year-end appeal. And what I mean by this is that donors will be able to see, oh, they've already raised half of their goal. They've already raised X amount of money. And now I just can add to it and help them with raising the final amount. So having that ability for people to see the progress of the fundraiser is important, and also having a bit of social proof with donors who gave maybe an hour ago, a few minutes ago, and having those donors lined up in a donor timeline so people can see who has given to the fundraiser already. People like to see what others are doing, and they often will act based on what others are doing. And so you may see that there's a trend among your donors where they see the first donor gave $50 and you'll see the second, the third, and the fourth gave, and then okay, a donor gave $25 and so forth. So really do have a fundraising platform with social proof because donors like to see that information. So what I encourage you to do when you're thinking about when you're wrapping up Giving Tuesday, I want to encourage you to debrief. Debrief with your team and ask really important questions like, what could we have done better? What worked for us? Where do we see a gap? And your team will be able to say, well, I was actually working with Facebook and there was an issue coming up, and I was seeing that a lot of people were opening the emails at 6 p.m. And I think if we decide to do this moving forward, we'll see a bit more activity, or people are examining, well, we really worked well as a team. And we saw that this individual has a great skill of creating graphics, and so let's continue to move forward with that. So you really want to debrief after your fundraising efforts, especially if you're participating in year-end appeal, so you can have that opportunity to say, this is what we did well, let's replicate that for our year-end appeal. Let's talk about some strategies for year-end appeals. So if your organization is having partnerships or is connected with companies that give to your nonprofit and they're in Q4, so a lot of companies right now are looking to give out their final philanthropic efforts at this point so they can exhaust it before the year is up, and they can also have that tax write-off. So say, for example, a company decides to give you a $500 grant. You can use it as an opportunity to share the language of a matching grant. So you know the $500 is already coming in for the organization, and now you use that language to say, we have the ability to double the impact. You have the ability as a donor to double your impact. So if we raise $500, we get matched dollar for dollar. And that means double the impact. So you'll see a lot of language probably for nonprofits about double the impact. You can think about a unique way to say it. So you're not using the exact same language, but this is an opportunity for your organization as well. If your organization has the contact information of nonprofits that are outside of just getting, not nonprofits, but donors just having their email, you will consider, okay, what more contact information do we have? Do we have their phone number? Texting donors has become something that is trending at this point. Do you want to text donors? Texting campaigns often have a greater open rate. When you get a text message, you know how you act when you get a text message, and you're more likely to open it versus the email that may go in spam, that may be just like another email from a nonprofit versus a text message. So there's an opportunity there. There's also an opportunity for direct mail. So direct mail is you are literally sending something in the mail to someone's mailbox. So if, for example, this is something completely new for your nonprofit, imagine a donor being pleasantly surprised that there's something in the mail for them when they go there, and it's addressed in their name, and it has their specific name handwritten out, and you put together a donor letter, and in that donor letter, it has a special handwritten note. If you're taking notes, you'll understand that having those personal touches is important, and then it has the opportunity for them to give. I keep on looking that way because we literally have our donor letters, our direct mail letters sitting right there. So do consider direct mail as well, which means you'll have to have the ability to get addresses. So optimize your website, optimize your fundraising pages to collect addresses. You may not use the addresses now, but eventually you will want to use them because you're thinking about how can I get in front of the donor in different ways? How can I get in front of them in a way that is what they desire? Not every donor is going to be on Facebook or Instagram. Not every donor is going to read their email. Maybe some of your donors, you don't even have an email for them, but you have their address. So you don't want to lose those donors who gave in the past because you don't even have the ability to send them something in the mail. Even if you have two addresses of donors who gave 2 years ago, why not set up a letter and just send it out to them? And as far as the costs are going to be pretty low. We're sending out about 6 letters because our donor list, our donor base has a lot of emails, and we're now collecting addresses. So we're sending out about 6 letters for donors who have given in the past but have not given recently. And so we're going to send that out, and we paid about $8 for 10 stamps. So realizing that the costs are going to be pretty low, you don't have to pay this printing company to do it. Put together the letter on Canva, add in your images, add in a QR code, and then send it out to the donor. You don't have to worry about paying all this just to do something that's simple. Now, when your organization is developing and you have probably 100 plus addresses of donors, of course, you're going to want to consider a printing company. So making those connections, even asking if a printing company can have that as an in-kind donation or a discounted opportunity for your nonprofit. Think about unique ways to make partnerships with organizations, with corporations and businesses so that your nonprofit can be successful and they can also be successful. So I just want to share that about Giving Tuesday year-end appeal. I hope everything is successful for your organization. I declare that the funds that are coming in for your organization are going to supersede what you had in mind, and that your partnerships and the people that are connected to you will just want to share what you're doing and give on top of that. So this is my belief for you. I encourage you to stay connected, to follow me on this app as well as on YouTube, and I will be pouring into a lot of individuals and nonprofits over the next few months using this space, and I'm looking forward to it. So have a great day and take care.